Welcome to PVT Express News. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. And now, here's today's content. Three years ago, when reporters asked Tan Songyun whether she would join the hit variety show Sisters Who Make Waves, her answer was disarmingly simple. I'm afraid. There are too many people. No polished explanation. No strategic career reasoning. Just a quiet, almost awkward honesty. At the time, in an industry obsessed with exposure and traffic, that answer didn't land well. Some called it unambitious. Others dismissed it as an excuse. In an era where appearing on variety shows was seen as a fast track to relevance, saying no felt almost like stepping backward. But fast forward to 2026, and that same answer now feels less like hesitation, and more like foresight. When I'm afraid turns into clarity. By the time the 7th season of Sisters Who Make Waves rolled around, the show was no longer just entertainment, it was controversy wrapped in glitter. What was once marketed as a fully live, authentic competition began to show cracks. Audiences started questioning everything. Was the singing really live? Were performances edited in post-production? Why did the slogan quietly shift from completely live to stage presentation live? That subtle wording change spoke volumes. It wasn't just a rebrand, it felt like a quiet retreat from a promise the show could no longer fully keep. And viewers noticed. This wasn't about people suddenly becoming cynical. It was about trust wearing thin. Audiences weren't unwilling to believe, they were just tired of being misled. The illusion of fairness. At its core, a competition show should thrive on two things: fairness and authenticity. But reality TV often operates on a different set of rules. On paper, everyone competes equally. In practice, it's rarely that simple. Some contestants who insisted on true live performances found themselves at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, others who leaned on technical enhancements often received higher scores and more screen time. Even elimination rules, which should be fixed and transparent, appeared to shift depending on the narrative needs of the show. When storytelling starts to outweigh fairness, the competition becomes something else entirely, a carefully constructed script. And once the audience sees the script, the magic fades. The editing room, where reality gets rewritten. In today's variety show ecosystem, editing is power. Screen time isn't distributed equally, it's allocated strategically. Well-known celebrities are given full arcs, backstories, emotional growth, redemption moments. Lesser-known participants? Often reduced to background roles, or worse, tools for conflict. Some are edited into exaggerated personalities. Others are framed as unstable, dramatic, or controversial, all for the sake of discussion and trending topics. What viewers end up watching isn't necessarily the person, it's a character built in the editing room. And that distinction matters. A personal lesson in being overlooked. Tan Songyun isn't speaking from theory. She's experienced this system firsthand. In a previous variety show, she reportedly endured over 13 hours of filming in harsh conditions, giving her full effort to the program. But when the episode aired, her screen time was cut to less than 5 minutes. Even more telling, her name was misspelled on promotional materials. That's not just an oversight. It reflects something deeper: how easily effort can be overshadowed when it doesn't serve the narrative. In that moment, the message becomes clear: hard work alone doesn't guarantee visibility, let alone respect. Refusal isn't weakness, it's strategy. Many people assume that turning down variety shows is a missed opportunity. In the short term, that might even be true. Less exposure means fewer headlines, fewer trending moments. But zoom out and the picture changes. For Tan Songyun, saying no wasn't avoidance. It was selection. The entertainment industry never runs out of stages. What's rare is the ability to choose the right ones. After experiencing how easily artists can be edited, sidelined, or reshaped into something unrecognizable, she began to ask deeper questions. Is this platform aligned with who I am? Is the exposure worth the loss of control? Do I want to be part of this system? These aren't easy questions, but they're necessary ones. Two paths in the industry. Today, the entertainment world has quietly split into two distinct paths. 1. The exposure path. Frequent variety show appearances, constant visibility, rapid popularity growth. 2. The craft path. Fewer appearances, deeper focus on roles, long-term reputation building. Actors like Sun Li, Duani Hong, and Fu Dalong are often associated with their characters, not their off-screen personas. Their relative mystery allows audiences to fully immerse in their roles. On the other hand, actors who appear frequently on variety shows can become overly familiar. Their real-life personalities start to overshadow their characters, making it harder for audiences to separate the actor from the role. It's an invisible trade-off, one that isn't immediately obvious, but becomes significant over time. The cost of being seen too much. Fame gained through constant exposure can be powerful, but it can also be limiting. When audiences know your personality too well, your acting risks feeling less convincing. Your roles become harder to differentiate. Your image starts to define your career. For an actor, that's a subtle but serious cost. Tan Songyun seems to understand this deeply. She hasn't rejected variety shows entirely, but she's selective. Careful. Intentional. She's chosen to invest in scripts, characters, and performances rather than scattering her energy across multiple platforms. It's a slower path, but often a more sustainable one. Choosing depth over visibility. At its core, this isn't just a career decision, it's a value choice. Do you want to be seen by more people? Or remembered more deeply? The industry often rewards visibility. More appearances are equated with success. Missing an opportunity is framed as a loss. But that perspective is short-term. What it rarely considers is the long-term cost of every yes. The power of saying no. Looking back, that simple phrase, "I'm afraid," wasn't weakness. It was honesty. And in an industry full of polished answers and strategic narratives, that kind of honesty stands out. Tan Songyun didn't dress it up with corporate language. She didn't pretend it was part of a grand plan. She just said what she felt. And that authenticity, ironically, is what many variety shows claim to offer, but often struggle to deliver. When time becomes the judge. 3 years later, the situation has come full circle. As Sisters Who Make Waves faced criticism, those who participated inevitably became part of the controversy. But Tan Songyun remained outside of it, unaffected, undefined, and unconsumed. That distance is powerful. It's not about avoiding opportunities. It's about recognizing which ones come with hidden costs. Real intelligence isn't about saying yes to everything, it's about knowing when to walk away. A different kind of riding the waves. In a noisy industry where everyone is chasing the spotlight, Tan Songyun chose something quieter. She didn't stand at the center of the wave. She studied its direction. And in doing so, She built something more enduring than momentary attention, a career with its own rhythm, its own boundaries, and its own sense of purpose. When the excitement fades, and it always does, it's rarely the loudest voices that remain. It's the ones who stayed grounded, who chose carefully, who understood that not every stage is worth stepping onto. Maybe that's what riding the waves really means. Not chasing the highest crest, but knowing where the current is going. Please join the discussion. Feel free to leave comments. Welcome to my channel. Thank you all.